Okay, so we are back with another another play session of Befallen. I believe this is session number 8. And what happened last time? There was the Doloret Labyrinth. We were in Nurain, specifically Upper Nurain, and we were focusing on some confirmed leads, some investigation, and we were drawn into the Doloret Manor. The family had gone missing, and so we had to figure that out. Ended up taking part in the Endless, and that is one of the corruption creatures that had taken a hold of this family inside their house. So it's all about mazes and puzzles, and so they had been locked into the shifting labyrinth inside of their house. So we fixed that in their manor. We fought fought a soldier, and Narain is really cool because they have these things called dolls, which are basically these constructed creatures that are sentient, but they have displaced a lot of people. So it's a very interesting dynamic there in that city. I could have gotten a doll, but narratively just didn't feel right because all the bad things they represent at the end of the day. So I didn't end up taking one. If I had a different character, maybe. But yeah, so we ended up fixing that quest. We got some clues. And of course, that's one of the things that I wanted to figure out. So we were told that the sun-bleached prism is used by a group called the Enkindlers here in Aman-Det. And then there's also a secret ventilation shaft in the cliff. So that's something that I will try to confirm. I have 4 out of the 7 clues that I need in order to complete our goal in this game, essentially. So that's what we'll be focusing on, trying to confirm those clues, and then eventually figuring out all the pieces that we need to complete our obsession, which is to retrieve all the pieces of Milena Everfall's apparatus, and then eventually unite them to make contact with an Eternal. So, last we left off, we were on our way to Aman-Det. We had already left Nurain. The air was getting colder, the ground turning to white salt, and as we moved towards the mines, or towards the city in general, and the transition happens, it's interrupted. A figure representing the Endless has stepped out from the shifting shadows of the road, and they're offering a shortcut to power. They're offering 3 levels of corruption in exchange for strength. So let's figure this out, and then we'll read a little bit more about Aman-Det. But I want to complete this role, but I do need to go back. I want to read it again, that specific role, what it was about, this offer. Okay, so last time I rolled a 9. It says you are accosted by an agent. Okay, if you haven't been marked, choose a power. I have multiple times. So like I said, they offer to strengthen your connection to the power, adding 3. If you refuse, the corrupting power adds a complication to your next roll. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so I am going to accept. I think the ability that you get is pretty cool. I think it's worth it. So I'm going to do it for the Hungering Flame. I'm at now level 4. I'm at level 4 with the Watcher Beneath the Waves, the Eternal Song, and the Hungering Flame. The Endless is still at 1. So because I'm at level 4, I now have this effect on me where a faint smell of smoke or burning follows me around. And then I get the Ignition ability, which basically means I could spend 1 corruption to conjure a flame in my hand or cause an inanimate object to burst into flame. And then you can also use an additional 2 corruption to make the flames impossible to extinguish for 4 hours. Okay, so let's read a little bit more about Aman-Det. So, it is built in the center of a drainage basin in the Crystal Desert. The city is a refuge for the undead. Ooh, okay, so probably some undead fights upcoming. It was founded 200 years ago by a salt sorcerer named Vidra-Det, who discovered an ancient formula for resurrecting the dead through an intense process of drying out the body, curing it with salt and herbs, and binding flesh to bone with gold wire as the corpse dried. In her life, she created 100 or more undead to build and populate her jewel of the desert. In death, she passed the secrets of resurrection to her creations, that their society might grow and flourish in her absence. So is this city just full of undead creatures? The city is a multi-tier city of interconnected mud brick and timber buildings built on sandstone foundations. And the city is ruled by the Speakers, a council of local leaders who each oversee one aspect of the city: water, agriculture production, salt mining, trade, building upkeep, and rebirth. 80% of the population of Aman-Det is undead. Oh, okay. So it's mostly undead. Interesting. So I'm guessing it's like a civilized society. Are the Speakers undead? That's interesting. I want to know about that. With much of the living population consisting of caravaneers who export the salt and incense produced in the desert city. Okay, interesting. Very nice art. So, what are the features? It has a stepwell. It's a series of stone balconies and staircases, stepping down to the wide water well at its center. There is the Temple of Resurrection. The temple is a landmark serving as the cultural center of the city and honoring the woman whose arts created the first undead. It is also the meeting place of the Speakers, and a gathering place where festivals are held, and a place where new undead take their first steps into the sunlight. And then we have the Enkindlers, which is the people that I wanted to look into. They practice the art by Vidra-Det. It was passed down to them. They are undead brought to life through the rite, have no memory of any experiences they had in life, or any resemblance to the person they had been. The Enkindlers guard the rite against outsiders, not out of jealousy, but out of fear of what someone without a reverence for the new life that it creates might do, were they to gain access to it. Then we have Nara of the Noonday Sun. She is the chief among the Enkindlers. We have Carrion, who leaves trails in the sand. That's his full name. He gathers corpses and transports them to Aman-Det to be raised as new undead. Then there is the salt mines, which I wanted to look into. There's the smoke market. Oh, wow. Is this what the undead look like? They look really cool. That might not be undead, Oh, that's Jan. Never mind. It's a woman named Jan, wields blades of moonlight. Though not a worshiper of the moon, Jan is obsessed with the dueling traditions of Karn and aims to bring those traditions to Aman-Det. Oh, okay. So Jan is from Karn, and that is what's more like a city. We might go to Karn. Let's see. Okay, and then we have the Caravanera, a small outpost dotted throughout the Crystal Desert to aid travelers passing to and from the city. Okay, so first what we're going to do, I'm walking the streets. I'm in Aman-Det with that faint smell of burning wood that follows me. I see that the locals are glancing around for a fire that isn't there. So to start on what I like to do, I need to verify some of the clues that I have. Okay, so verifying clues, it requires a D12 roll. So that was clue number 5, the Enkindlers and the Prism. So I have a clue that the Enkindlers are the spiritual and literal gatekeepers of the salt mines, and the Sun Beach Prism is being used by them. I need to verify if you're using the prism for some type of ritual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time. There's different districts. The Enkindlers. I'm going to spend some time by the Temple of Resurrection, So basically what I'm going to be using is I'm going to use investigation, persuasion, and that will give me 5d10 to roll with. But I mean, I've played a lot of games where you roll a pool. I could roll 10d10 and still get nothing. I mean, I like it though. So yeah, I'm basically using like persuasion to kind of get people to open up a little bit more. I'm new here, obviously an outsider, and investigation as well. I'm observing the enkindlers and their movements and the guards and things like that. And I'm talking to people. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's roll the challenge die and let's see what number I got to beat. Well, okay, a 4. So basically, I have 5d10 that I can roll with. I mean, yeah. I rolled 5, 6, 7, 7, 8. Success. Oh, okay, nice. So that is a clue that has been confirmed. Okay, so now time to verify clue number 6, which is that there is a secret ventilation shaft in the cliffs of Aman-Det. So that's probably somewhere near the smoke mines. Yeah. So I'm going near the salt mines to confirm all of this. And I probably have to be sneaky. The miners of Aman-Det, they cut tunnels into the walls of the valley. And yeah. So basically what I'm going to be using is investigation and sneak. So I am doing, I'm trying to find a hidden entrance in the cliffs. And if there's like old archives somewhere in the city, I will go do some research first. And then I'll take more to like the outskirts and go to the salt mines to confirm for any like openings, any unnatural openings. Like I'll go and do the physical scouting. So I'm combining those two at the start of my day here at Aman-Det. So I'm using investigation and sneak. Let's roll the challenge die for this verification. Okay, 7. Okay, so I'm going to roll 5d10 again. Okay, I passed, but with a complication. So I rolled a 1. So 1 is always a complication on a roll. So 1, 6, 8, 9, and 9. Okay, so that does confirm that one. That confirms like 6 clues already. So I just need 1 more. So once you have marked 7 clues as true, you gain enough information to attempt to resolve your obsession. So I can choose a location, I can imagine 3 obstacles, and then you resolve each obstacle to complete your obsession, and then your character's journey is complete. So I just need 1 more clue, and then I'll have enough information. So once again, by lingering near the Temple of Resurrection, I've catched the hush, conversation of temple servants. I learned that the enkindlers are indeed using the sun-bleached prism. They describe as the grand ignition that never ends, is what they call it. And then we have the ventilation shaft, which is true, but with a complication. So I've scouted the jagged cliffs that overlook the salt mines, and I used my knowledge, bit of luck. I spotted a vent, a kind of narrow square opening that's hidden. And it looks like it provides a direct drop in there. But, let's see. While confirming the entrance, I wasn't alone as I thought. A mine overseer on a routine patrol spots me lingering near the restricted cliffside. Like he didn't see me specifically, but let's say he like caught my tracks. And so the enkindlers are now aware that someone is poking around the secret back door. So looks like security near that ventilation shaft has been doubled, and the difficulty of a sneak or like athletic rolls will be increased. So basically like the challenge roll, if it was like a D10, it will now be a D12. So The next thing I want to do is I want to investigate for a new clue. I have one clue left to find in Aman-Det. That's going to point towards a location I haven't visited yet, and I think there is Marrowlight. Haven't been there. I haven't been to. There's one called Herthome, and then there's Karn, Pinehold. Rimehaven is where I started. Let's go. I think Karn sounds the most interesting. So if we could get a clue for Karn, that would be cool. Haven't been to like a big city like this yet. So I'm going to the smoke market. The smoke market is drenched in the thick aromas of spice, herbs, and incense. It is the heart of commerce. It's a hive of shops, storefronts, tea houses. The rarest herbs grown on the tiers of the stepwell are brought here to be dried and crafted and cured into incense, pipeweed, spice blends, and teas that are famous across the world. So I'm going to go to the smoke market, and then I'm going to talk to a woman called Mari, walks on clouds of sweet incense. She is undead, and her traits are deceptive and opportunistic. She is the proprietor of a place called the Honeyed Wind. It's an incense shop. She's neither the most skilled nor the most successful incense maker, but she's determined to rise to the highest of heights through whatever means necessary. A lot of people are finding themselves commonly swindled by her. But she has connections to the underground smuggling rings in Aman-Det. She can procure any item, including artifacts of corruption, but requires a commission fee of 2 resources to do so. So because of that, I think Mari is probably a really good person to talk to and try to get information. I'm going to ask her, has she heard anything about the city of Karn? And I'll tell her about this apparatus. So Mari has a D8 challenge die, so that's what I'll roll. So let's see what I gotta beat. Okay, that's a 4. So, I'm using persuasion for sure, and I'm looking for new information. I rolled a 4, and yeah, I think persuasion is good as I'm talking to her, and trying to be sweet and nice. See if she knows anything. So that's just 3d10. Oh, nice. 7, 8, and 10. Okay, roll a 10, so I do get a fate point that goes up to 7. Okay. Okay, so then say I got a clue. So she tells me that one of the missing pieces of Milena Everfall's apparatus, a set of harmonic resonators, was recently seized by the Bronze Vault as collateral for a merchant's debt and is currently held in the high security vault of the Cage in the city of Karn. And the Bronze Vault is basically, they control like the business interests, which we'll learn more once we get to that city. But yeah, they're kind of the bureaucratic hand of that city. So, Mari has her connections to smuggling rings, and so she's able to give me this clue. Okay, so that concludes this part of the investigation. I'm now going to do a plot in Aman-Det. Let's see how that goes. So first I'm going to see there are 2 categories. The voice within the mines, so that's like a mining-centric plot, or there is an unlit deadly sickness, and then there is the risen king of the sand, which is a storyline. So I'm going to roll a d6 and then I'll have it, and then I'm going to see which one we land on. That's a 2. Half of 2 is 1. So that is the voice within the mines. So 6 miners who entered the salt mines have disappeared. Other teams who return from the mine repeat stories of strange noises issuing forth from the deepest sections of the mine, prone to cave-ins. So I could go with that one. I could roll. Sometimes I roll, but let's just... Other ones might be more interesting. That one's fine, though. There's a sickness. There is a sickness that is running rampant through the undead of Aman-Det, but the living population of the city seems to be unaffected. And then we have the storyline. This one's called The Risen King of the Sand. This plot is a storyline. Follow each storyline event and resolve them in the order presented. When you complete the last event, gain 2 skill points. There's a little warning, though. It does say the storyline may have a higher degree of difficulty for certain characters. Some characters may need to tap NPCs or draw on the corrupting powers to complete this storyline. And you know what? We haven't done a storyline in a second. Let's just do that. Let's do The Risen King of the Sand. Okay, so this is The Risen King of the Sand. So there are 5 events, and we have to go in order. The first one is that caravans who have ventured west have disappeared, and undead scouts from Aman-Det who ventured into the desert to investigate have not returned. The ringing of pickaxes and shovels can be heard over the dunes in the night. Venture east into the desert and locate the cause of trouble. So, as the rules say, follow each storyline event and resolve them in the order presented. So this one is just traveling east. To complete the first event, you must venture east. And of course, this is like we're locating what is going wrong. Finding the missing caravans. Okay, so I need to locate the cause of trouble as we go to investigate, of course. I'm tracking the sounds of the pickaxes and the shovels to their source. I'm investigating for sure. And survival, of course, is going to come into play as I'm navigating the desert and trying to find the location without getting lost. I'm not going to use sneak. I'm not trying to be non-detected. So let's roll a d10 and see what the challenge die is. Ooh, a 1. Wow. Unless I roll 3 runs, I will be successful in this, but let's do it. Well, the plot is active, so that is a +1. So actually, it's a 2. The challenge die is a 2. So investigation and survival. So that would be 4d10. Ooh, I did roll a 1, but I did roll a 10. So it's a little complication. So my fate point goes up to 8. So there is a slight complication. Okay, so what happens? There's a complication. So an unexpected event that causes a problem. But it's not going to prevent the success of the task. So I'm going to say that it is an environmental change. A sudden small sandstorm kicks up, and it makes the beginning of event 2 more difficult. So it's going to add a +1 to my peril for a few turns. And so when you're doing plots, you have peril peril points that are kicked in, and they're just like +1s that are added to the challenge die. So I already have a +1 because the plot is just active. And then I have another +1 because something is making the task more difficult. That's going to be a +2 on all the challenge die rolls for right now. So we'll look into event 2. So we figure out what happens. We successfully track the sounds and locate something new. There are hundreds of sand shades, along with the mind-controlled citizens and caravaneers from Aman-Det that dig ceaselessly to uncover an ancient city that has been long buried beneath the sand. Murals in the dead city depict armored soldiers holding dominion over the sun itself. Break one of the Aman-Det undead from the spell and learn what's going on. So that sandstorm, it hit fast. I can start to feel the sand and the grit fills my mouth. I have to squint through the haze, but the sound of the pickaxes, they grow louder as I'm reaching it. And then I see the figures are at work. And I'm going to double check. What are sand shades? I bet those are some type of beast. Okay, so sand shades are the risen remains of bodies buried beneath the sand, constructs of desiccated flesh, bones, and sand held together by animating magic or by the will of an angry spirit. 3 fortitude. Okay, so I'll hold this in my back pocket. We might have to come back to these sand shades. Creatures. So there are hundreds of them. And mind-controlled citizens and caravaneers. Okay, so I have to break one of the Aman-Det undead from the spell. So as I'm trying to get one of those undead workers to snap out of it so I can get some answers, storm is picking up, it's howling around me, it's making it hard to focus and keep my footing. So I do need to make a roll to break the mind control. Occult seems to be the one that makes the most sense, as I'm trying to disrupt the magic for sure. So challenge die is a D10. Because of the sandstorm, it's going to add another +1. So it's going to be D10 +2. Oh my god, of course I rolled a 12. Okay, so I can use Occult, but my ability Awakened Scholar, I can choose to add additional D10s for my investigation skill to my dice pool. So I'm going to use that because I need a 10 or I fail this roll. So I do need some D10s. Oh my god. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 D10. But, I have fate points. I have melodic perfection. When I fail a roll, I can spend a corruption dice to re-roll that same number of D10s. Do I want to call in the corruption to help already? Yes, let's go. Okay, so that is 4d10, and I just need a 10. Come on. Go. Oh my god, 2, 6, 9, 10. Nice. That is a success. Okay. So, fate goes up to 9. So, I look, the undead workers' eyes snap into focus. They have that glassy stare of the spell shattering. Then he grabs my arm. He whispers that they're digging up a nightmare. Okay, so he says they're building up a nightmare, and Sudakar, the name comes out, eyes wide. I'm successful in breaking them out, but it has alerted the forces at work. The city's true nature as a monument to Sudakar, the avatar of a banished, corrupting power, is revealed, and his disembodied voice urges a crusade to summon his master back into the world. So the immediate situation, I am alerted, and 3 sand shades swarm me. So I now have to fight or evade the 3 sand shades and find a safe place within the half-buried city. So I knew those sand shades were going to come back in. Suraka. Once I've found a safe place within the city, you may choose to end the day here, pay living expenses as normal as you consume rations. Or I can continue on because there are 2 more steps. But it depends on how this combat goes. Let's see. So let's go back. We have they're called sand shades. We have the sand shade. They are the red and white uniform and bronze armor that had once adorned an ancient warrior, are tattered and worn after centuries of being buried beneath the desert sands. Now, it is animated by a storm of sand constantly shifting and blowing, coalescing enough to support the structure of the armor and to form hands, which hold a bronze spear. But doesn't heat like hardened sand? I have this new ability called ignition. But I can cause an inanimate object to burst into flame. This is not inanimate. This thing is clearly moving. Okay, so the challenge die is a d6. There are 3 of them. Since I'm fighting a group of 3, their collective fortitude is 5. Okay, so this has specific rules because they are a group. They have that Legion's rule, and when you're counting more than 1. And so when you're fighting a group like these 3 here, we can treat the whole group as a single enemy. So their total fortitude is calculated by adding the +1 fortitude for each enemy beyond the first. Therefore, I only need to reduce the collective. I need to worry about 5 fortitude and then reduce it to 0 to defeat all 3. So that's kind of like the group roll, so I don't have to. It's not. For 1, it's 3 fortitude, so I'm not doing like 3 times 3, which is 9 fortitude. There's like a collective rule here. Okay, so I don't have to add the complications or another peril. The book does say, do not add peril to the challenge roll during combat or confrontation, which I appreciate. Okay, so I'm going to fight, of course. I have my dagger, I have my immolation dagger, and I could, if I make a successful attack with immolation, I could spend 1 corruption die to deal an additional damage. And I see the shades, they're starting to swirl around me because they're just made of sand and dust. And they have the weapons that they're carrying that they can use to try to slash me. So I'm going to strike. So that's just 1d10. So for the fight against the 3 shades, the challenge roll is a d6 plus 1. They are not that hard, probably because they're made of sand. So the highest I could get is a 7. Okay, so let's see what I roll. Okay, so that is a 5. So I'm going to strike with the immolation. And that is just 2d10. I'm only using strike, and then I have a base d10 for just trying. Oh, yes! 6 and a 10. I believe that's 2 successes. Because I just needed to beat a 5. But I do need to, because they do suffer damage, so I need to roll a d6. On a 6 or higher, I reduce the damage by 1. So I'm gonna roll a d6. Hopefully, okay, that's a 3. Nice. Okay, fate point goes up to 10. Okay, so now the sand shades. I did 2 damage. They are down to 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for an opening this time, actually. So I'm going to roll 1d6 plus 1. Okay, so that's a 3. I'm using investigation, so that will be 3d10. So let's just see what I roll. Let's go. 2, 5, and 6. Okay, so that now I have advantage in my next roll, which I'm going to strike. Okay, so now we're in another round. I'm going to strike again with the immolation dagger. If I'm successful, I will use that ability I'll spend a corruption die, deal another damage. So let's roll the d6 plus 1, and this is for the 3rd round. Okay, that's a 4. I'm going to strike. So that's 1, 2, and I have 3d10. It's got to be the 4. Oh, nice. 7, 9. Okay, so I did use 1 corruption die, and I dealt an additional 3, so they are dead now. But this quest is still not over, so I may see them again. And so I do a little stab, and they don't just dissipate, they kind of ignite, because I'm made of fire now, turn into pillars of ash. Sandstorm quickly sweeps them away, and I hear a Surakar. I hear his voice. He lets out like a distorted hiss of rage before fading into the wind. That's the end of event 3, but I won't sleep. I'm good. Let's head on to event 4. So now we're in the city, and we need to gather clues, and we need to find a ritual chamber. Basically, we have to search the city, and we need to gather 3 clues. So, step 4. Now that you've found a safe place to hide, you can venture out into the city to gather information. Search the city for 3 clues about Surakar's resurrection. Successful rolls gain you 1 of the following clues. A mural depicting Surakar receiving a dark gem from his master and replacing his heart with it. a leather-bound tome, or a scroll recounting Sudakar's raising spirits. And then failed rolls attract the attention of more sand shades, but yield a clue after you defeat them. So how many sand shades? There are hundreds of sand shades in the city. If you're going into combat with them, feel free to tailor the number you face to your character's skill and the kind of encounter you're looking to add to your story. And then, once that happens, you'll find the ritual chamber, break the seal to battle Sudakar, or conduct a ritual to renew the seals binding him. And there is a binding ritual. I'll probably bind him, but we'll see when we get there. Because, I mean, I could fight him. In this game, there's nothing you really get. Like, there's some solo games where, well, a lot of them, once you defeat an enemy, you get loot and, like, cool stuff. This one, you don't really get that stuff, so not too motivated to fight. But, I mean, it's cool to do cool abilities, but if I got some loot or something, XP, but nothing really. So, I think the binding would be interesting. So we do need to stop Sudakar's return, and I need to understand the nature of his binding and the ritual the mind control workers are performing. So we need to search the city for 3 clues. Successful rolls gain you... Oh, it's these 3 clues. Oh, okay. And those are the clues. I just read out the clues. I just need to be successful in getting them. So, got it. So let's search the ruins. Let's use investigation. And I don't think the +1 for the sandstorm is no longer in play because the sandstorm was outside and we are now in this underground city. Okay, so we are at these desert ruins, kind of in this desert city, finding this temple. So, being inside the ruins does certainly shield us from that stinging grit outside. So, the peril is just a +1 from the active plots. So, I am now exploring the silent, salt-dusted corridors of this dead city down here, trying to find the 3 keys to Sudakar's binding. So, we're going to search the temple walls for the image of the dark gem heart. I can use sneak because there are a lot of sand shades down here, so I definitely have to be sneaky. And I can move. I'm moving through the shadows of the ruins, avoiding like the mind-controlled digging crews and the sand shades. So this is going to be a D10 +1 roll. This is a challenge die. Okay, that's a 4. Okay, so I'm using sneak and investigation, and that should give me 5 D10 total. Adding everything up. Oh my god, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. I'm just kidding. 7, 8, 8, 8, 10. So success, and I gain a fate point. Fate is now up at 11. Okay, so that was the first roll. I have to make 3 to find these clues. So there is, I'm also scouring the ruins of a library or like a scriptorium for the record of special jars, right? There is a leather-bound tome that we're looking for. It helps to detail the ritual. So again, that is a D10 +1. Oh, that's an 11. Oh no. Okay. Once again, I am using investigation. I'm going to use investigation, and I'll use survival this time because it is like navigating and searching for hidden things. And then I'll use occult as well, and that is like using my... Well, I'm not really using my arcane knowledge right now, but I could in the future. So I'll save it for now, but I am using sneak and survival. So that is 4 D10 and against 11. Oh my god, I need a 10. I could use harmonic disruption to reduce the challenge die by 3. I could. Let's see. I have a couple things that I can do. I have melodic perfection. But okay, so survival, sneak, and investigation for sure. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm rolling 60-10. That doesn't mean I'll get a 10, but let's see. Oh my god, I got 3 10s. Oh, wow. Oh my god. I've rolled that many pools before and gotten nothing in multiple games. Oh my gosh, that's 3 more fate points. Fate is up to 14. I feel like I'm going to have to fight this thing, but I'm going to bind it. I'm going to try to bind it, but I got some fate points that could help me out. Okay, this is roll number 3. This is for the scroll. So we have now found... we found the tome. And like, we know how to do this ritual now. So we find this leather-bound tome. It details the ritual that was used before in the past. And it's sealed away. It was used to seal Sudakar away in a series of jars. Interesting. Okay. So now we need to roll for finding the clue of the scroll. It recounts Sudakar's raising spirits of the desert to fight on his behalf. So it's kind of like, okay, so what were his techniques? So if we know his techniques, we could be ready for it. So now I'm going to like investigate like any barracks area or command centers to find the scroll on like how he used mind-controlled creatures. So yeah, investigation again. Let's roll the challenge die. Okay, that's a 2. Oh. Numbers I like to see for the challenge die. Okay. Investigation, of course. Being sneaky because there's lots of sandshades here. And I think that's it. I could use survival. But let's just use the 4 plus 4, which is 5. Let's do it. Okay, success. Okay, so no failed roll, so I don't attract the attention of the sandshades. So I now have the information needed to begin. To save Aman-Det and to keep this power contained, I must renew the 5 seals. So, step 5 is find the ritual chamber, break the seal to battle Sudakar. Or conduct a ritual to renew the seals binding him, and that's what I want to do. So I have to successfully renew 5 seals. The binding ritual is, the difficulty is a D12. Make a skill roll with occult. Of course I'm going to use occult. On a success, you renew 1 of the seals. On a failure, one of the jars holding Sudakar's essence explodes. If 4 jars explode before you renew all 5, Sudakar is released. And I don't want to fight Sudakar because I've seen that stat block and it is absolutely crazy. I mean, that fight sounds like it would be fun though. So let's try and bind him. It's kind of like a skill challenge, of course. Let's see. D12 is crazy. D12 is... I can spend 1 stamina, though, to reduce a challenge die by 3. Ooh. I think harmonic disruption works for opponents, like if I'm in a fight. So, okay, let's do this. I don't want any of the jars to explode. That is a D12 plus 1 because the plot is active. Oh god, here we go. Okay, that's a 5. I can only use occult. And then I have Awakened Scholar, so that's going to help. So that would be 1, 2, 3. I have 4d10 that I can roll if I activate the Awakened Scholar ability. Okay, 1, 8, 9, 9. So success with the complication. Hey, at the very least, I'll have to fight some sandshades or something. Okay. So let's roll again. The D12 plus 1. Okay, that's a 6. And roll again for me. Okay, 1, 2, 6, 8. Another success with the complication. Okay, roll again. Let's go. Okay, it's a 5. This is roll number 3. Nothing has exploded yet. Here's my rolls. Okay, success. Okay, this is roll number 4. 12. Oh no. Okay. Oh, I need a 10. I need a 10 here, or it's a failure. Oh my god, I rolled a 10. 6, 6, 9, and 10. Oh my god. Okay, fates are now at 15. Okay, final roll. D12 plus 1. Okay, 4. And then I will re-roll. Oh my god. Oh. Whoa. What? That's crazy. That's a success. But 3 10s I rolled. That's 3 more fate points. I'm now at 18. Wow. There were some complications in there. I was able to bind it. So, complication, what I'm going to say is like, I take some damage. I think like the heat from the jars started to scorch my hands through gloves as I am doing this ritual, and then I will take damage. That sounds fair. So my fortitude would go down to 8. I do gain 2 skill points because of this. The Risen King of the Sand is complete, that storyline. And so, with the ritual complete, the mind-controlled citizens in the city above finally collapse. And you can see like the heavy, that glassy look leave their eyes as they wake up. A little confused, exhausted from being like forced to work. And so, the city of Aman-Det is grateful. So what I'm going to do now is just the regular stuff of like gaining the 2 skill points, getting the reward from the community. Okay, so I just get 2 resources, and I learn 1 new clue. Okay, so I got another clue. I think one of the kind of older salt workers approaches me, and they tell me they recognize the faint hum of my tuning forks, and there's that smoky smell that follows me, and he tells me a rumor he overheard while working deep near the ritual chamber that Miss Everfall didn't just lose her pieces to merchants, but she hid a spectral condenser. This is one of the key components to the apparatus within the sinking archives of Merolite. There's a city called Merolite, protected by a lock that only responds by a specific harmonic frequency. Okay, so after getting that clue, this is where we're going to end this play session. And when we come back, we'll still be in Aman-Det and exploring and doing a couple quests. And then we'll go from there.